Welcome. I didn't have lunch today, so I figured I might as well eat and invite all of you guys to be here with us to eat. So if you're sitting, thank you. Well, food will do it all the time, pretty much. Actually, I'm thinking about it. I think I fed all of you last night too at the after party, right? So that's not a bad thing. I'm happy to do that. We're happy to do that. Everybody had a good time. I really like this show a lot, in spite of the fact that Gabe runs it. Gabe does a lot of work, and he takes criticism, not well, but he takes criticism, and he takes suggestions, and I think it's a lot of work, and I appreciate what he did. So thank you. It's a thankless job running a show, and he's the right guy to run it. I don't know how that came out that way. All right, let's see how this thing works. Plus doesn't work. Enter works. Okay, cool. So this afternoon, when I had nothing to do, I spent 10 minutes and put this together so that I had something to show you guys. What we have here, a few weeks ago, we had a school visit the factory, and our doors are open pretty much to everybody. Every day of the week, weekdays, sometimes on Saturdays, we're doing a live simulcast on the 23rd with the Buffalo Pinball guys. They're going to come and visit us. But pretty much this was a whole school of 6th graders that came. And they actually designed a pinball machine, and they're really into pinball. And they were asking so many really great questions, and we had a lot of fun with this. And the interesting thing is that the boys were like ants at a picnic around a lollipop on the floor with Hobbit, and the girls were the same way around Wizard of Oz. And it's kind of an amazing thing. Not that the girls didn't play Wizard of Oz or the boys didn't play, opposites, but it was pretty cool to see that. And they really had a great time. They asked a lot of questions, and they got a lot of answers. They got some prizes along the way for the tour, and they were there for about 3 hours. And here they are in my office. If anybody hasn't been in my office, it's about 800 square feet, and they all fit in there, and there was a question and answer, and I was signing play fields for them, and translights, and hats, and all that kind of stuff, and everybody got something. And this was their next to last day of school, and this was a big treat to them. So we were happy to do it. And we have a number of different groups come, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, all kinds of groups that come to the factory. And here's a shot with most of them, I think, almost all of them, at the end of the day. And they actually booked another day to come back next year. So the teacher was really happy, and the kids were really happy, and it was really cool. At these shows, what we see now is a lot of young people, even in this room, right? We have a lot of young people, girls, boys, moms, girlfriends, dads, families. And pinball is growing. We're really at the beginning of a boom in pinball. We're not at the middle, we're not at the end. The curve, it's just starting. Because guess what? The whole world is finding out what we know. And there's more pizza in the front, by the way, if anybody wants it. Seconds or thirds, whatever. You want to take them up to your room, whatever, it's fine with me. So this is just the beginning. Having a lot of different people be involved with pinball, having other companies instead of one company that's a monopoly that built pinball machines for 10 or 12 years. And we have a company now 5.5 years old, and you have the Dutch pinball guys, and you have Spooky, and you have Highway, and you have a couple other people. I think it's great. My dream would be if there were 50 different companies making pinball machines. I think it's really great. 75th anniversary Wizard of Oz game. I think I'll probably have this license when I'm building the 100th anniversary Wizard of Oz game. So we had about 150 Wizard of Oz games at the end of last year before we switched over to Hobbit. And a couple of people in my company, not my daughter Jen and I, but a couple other people in the company were, oh my goodness, how are we going to get rid of these games? Well, we didn't get rid of anything. We sold out sometime in April, and we have back orders right now for Wizard of Oz. So what we did was we took a section of the building, And we repurposed it, and these are some pictures taken a few weeks ago that I had on my phone. I should have taken some newer ones. But the line, so we built a smaller boutique line for Wizard of Oz alone, where we'll be able to build about 20, 25 Wizard of Oz games a week. So I know our biggest distributor in the world is Mike Dodona at Automated Services, and he's here with his lovely daughter, Michaela. And Mike has about 100 Wizard of Oz games on order right now, I know. So we'll be getting to build those in the next few weeks, and it's really cool to have the building where we'll be able to make 2 different games at the same time. So there's another shot of the line as it was getting set up. And Wizard of Oz, to me, your first game, I think, is always something that I'll never forget. I'll never forget the amount of trouble, the amount of effort, the amount of energy, the amount of money, the amount of detail, the amount of innovative things that went into this game to really make it what it is. And I still love playing the game. I still love to see the game. I still love hearing from people that have the game. The early adopters had some problems, but we worked through them. The later games, they really have no problem, except pinball problems. And there's pizza here. If you want to come in, there's pizza down the front. You're welcome to it. Come on in. This is a shot of a ticket dispenser mounted underneath the Wizard of Oz game. And we have what's called Pintastic software. Did any of the kids play in the tournament today? The Watch tournament? Yeah, you won. Didn't you win second place? Fourth place, right? Cool. So you actually played the Pintastic version. Yeah. You actually played the Pintastic version of the game. So Pintastic is collapsed rules where you could melt the witch quicker, and it's based on time play instead of ball play. So it's meant primarily for commercial operators. Put it on a location, set the game up for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and you can win tickets. This game shows physical tickets, but you can win virtual tickets also if you have a swipe card system. These games, we have about a dozen of them now out on location, and they're doing really well. Really well means they're doing between $300 and $700 a week, which for a pinball machine is unheard of, spectacular money. As a redemption game, it's the first pinball machine in the state of New Jersey actually licensed to be a redemption game. So we're pretty proud of that. And we'll do the same thing with Hobbit as well. There's another shot of it. More Wizard of Oz. This is a polar bear in a snowstorm in Antarctica, I guess, right? Okay. So Hobbit. I seem like I've been talking about this game forever, and come on in, have pizza or whatever. I seem like I'm talking about this game forever, but it's working out really well. This is a guy that runs another pinball show. Does anybody know who this guy is?
Paysack. Mike Paysack.
Mike Paysack, that's him, yeah. And he shows up different times of the year at our factory wearing different wacky kind of shirts. So I think this was around 4th of July, or maybe it was Memorial Day, I don't really remember. It was a couple of weeks ago when he was over. And right now with Hobbits, we're building 15, 16, 17 games a day, which is really cool. Because at the beginning of Wizard of Oz, we were building about 15, 16, 17 games a week. So it's a big difference. We've built more than 650 games right now. We have about 1,000 games that are on back order. So did anybody order a Hobbit and still waiting for it? Cool. Anybody, you ordered a Hobbit and waiting for it?
Get it next week.
Next week you're gonna get it, good. Anybody order a Hobbit and get it? Okay, so that's good. Okay, good. So we're still selling Hobbits every day, which is pretty cool. So I expect that it'll be another few months that we'll be building Hobbit. Just got a text that was important, so stop texting me, okay? I had to answer it, sorry. I hate that. I hate when you see couples in restaurants and they're texting and they're not there in the restaurant. That's another seminar. So this is kind of what the building looks like. Part of it is a lot of games packed, ready to go. We've been shipping containers of games to Germany, to the Netherlands, to the UK. Australia just got a container shipped the other day. Another one went to France. So, you know, these things go in the water. They take about a month, 5 weeks to get there, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, depending on where in the world they're going. And it's pretty cool to see them all lined up, ready to go. It's a lot of fun to see that and be where we are right now. I'm really happy about it. Different models of the Hobbit we know, the standard game, the Smaug Special Edition, and this is a Smaug. Different things about the game. Everybody kind of knows that. You know, what we do different, if anybody doesn't know, you know, all our play fields are the same. So you have all the same amount of toys between the different models. We don't take anything off of them or change the play field around much. It's pretty much cosmetics between the games. I don't want to really confuse what the market is on the game. So if you wanted a gold game with the Smaug graphic, that's what you bought. If you want the LE and you wanted everybody on it, all the characters, you bought a different version game. And this is kind of cool, you know, if I go in the building I'm there pretty much every day except when I'm not. So if you go in on a Saturday morning and, you know, everything's running and burning in over the weekend, it's kind of cool for me to walk around there and see what was created because of our customers and because of demand. You know, it's like 5.5 years. I'll be honest with you, it really hasn't sunk in that I have this pinball company. It was never something that I had a dream about. You know, sometimes it was a nightmare actually, but I really didn't have a dream that I'm going to have a pinball company. But I have to say, if you have a dream, just do whatever you need to do at 100%. And if you don't give up, you're not going to be able to fail. And this company is a testament to the customers that believed in it and believed in me, and the testament to the people that work for the company for the product we build, and I'm very proud of it. This is an interesting picture. So there are a few things on the Hobbit that need improvement, and if you have one, you know it. So the left ramp, the way we built them in first, caused a ball trap, and the beasts themselves. Maybe we close those doors because there's a lot of noise out there. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very little. So the ball seems to get caught in some of the beast mechs. And our drop targets, you know, Wizard of Oz, we had 1 drop target. On Hobbit, we have 11. And they all cycle up and down like really crazy. So if you played a game like Jumpin' Jacks that has, you know, 10 drop targets, the thing goes down once or twice in the game. These drop targets, that's a lot better. These drop targets really cycle hundreds of times during a game. So the springs on them are really, they're springs that was always on drop targets in pinball. Well, they weren't good enough for us, so we redesigned new springs. And so we have a few items that we're going to be sending to all our customers that got Hobbits already. And we've made these changes in the factory. So we'll have a Hobbit update kit. Oops. We'll have a Hobbit update kit so that anybody, you know, with 500 or 550 games, you know, we'll send that stuff out for free. So I'll probably make a real formal announcement, even though I'm being recorded right now, and this will be on social media in 30 seconds, and everybody will be emailing me, where the hell's my update kit, you know? So that's the wonderful thing about social media. You know? It's really wonderful, because without it, we wouldn't have a company. So anyway, the point is that we want to always improve what we do. We recognize that making a pinball machine is really, it's a process, right? So nothing's perfect. And one of my old sayings was, if it's not broke, it's not pinball, right? But we want JJP Pinball to work. And we want to support the product because you deserve that. You paid a lot of money for it, or it's on location. I don't really want the ball getting stuck somewhere where mechanically it's going to get stuck and it's kind of silly and all that. So we're going to take care of that problem. Here's a shot of me, and I'm with Brooke and Nick Parks. So at the Pinball Company, they're great distributors of ours. That's in St. Louis. I've been traveling around the world pretty much every weekend, every other weekend I'm somewhere else. The really good thing about this show is it's kind of like the last show for the summer, I think. I don't have anything next weekend, the weekend after, or whatever, so there's a little break. in the action, and I was out there, and those guys do a really tremendous job for us. They had a really big open house, and it was really great. These are two crazy guys, the guy from Shorty's, Vu, and one of our other crazy customers who I love. This is at Tacoma at a show, and really the excitement that players have, customers have, they don't have to buy a Hobbit or a Wizard of Oz. They play the games and they love the games, and it's really great. We don't have to say to them, you have to buy a game to have fun, especially when they're on location. There's a show at Allentown where Hobbit was, and the game is just people pile around the game. It's like one of my customers, an operator said it's like a bug light. The bugs all are drawn to all the lights, and they're just amazed by what the game is. Actually, that's my dad playing Hobbit at the amusement park show. So some of these I tossed in there. That's at one of the shows too, before the show got started. So what I did differently today was I kind of decided, let me show you guys some pictures that I haven't shown. This is me on social media in 1971.
Newspaper.
So this is me next to my CV radio that cost me 25 bucks. It cost my mom 25 bucks. And, it's kind of what the internet is today. Only it was a little bit different. You had to actually verbalize and talk. And, being a kid in Brooklyn, I met a lot of friends that I still have today. And it was a lot of fun. And my son Jack, the poor kid, kind of looks like this guy in the picture now. And he's 26. So I think in this picture I probably weighed about 115 pounds. And it was a lot of fun. I don't think I still have the cowlick in my hair, but this is at one of the science fairs, an electronic shop. And in electronic shop, in high school, I went to South Shore High School, and they had like a really high-end electronic shop where I learned a lot, and I built a lot of things. And my only problem was in one of the semesters, between a marking period, I just decided not to go to any of my other classes. And I decided just to stay in the electronic shop because I loved it so much. And my teacher, Mr. D'Amico, rest in peace, actually let me do that. So at the end of the marking period, I was called down to the principal's office, Dr. Lawrence Feigenbaum, who was kind of like the Wizard of Oz, this little guy behind a big desk. And, I got a 99 in electronics, which I should have, and I got a 40 in everything else. And he said, "Guarnieri, what's the matter with you?" And I said, I just want to do electronics. Well, you're not going to get out of high school if you don't do all this other stuff. So I did all the other stuff, and I got out on time. And there's another picture of me. This is probably 1975, when I first got a job working for JJP Amusements. And that tool case is a Jensen JTK 17 that they still make. At that time, it probably cost me 180 bucks for it, which was probably more than 2 weeks take-home pay. Today, I looked online the other day for this toolkit, and it's $1,000. It's like $1,200 to $1,300 today. It's kind of crazy. So that was a lot of fun. I was going to take a job for 6 months before I was going to college to become an electrical engineer. I was going to Hofstra University, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to take 6 months off, and I'll go get a job doing anything. So the quick story is I went, answered an ad to be a clerk at a shipping company, and I got the job, and the guy said to me, "What do you really want to do with your life?" I says, I want to do electronics, something in electronics. So he walked over to the shelf, and he turned an AM FM radio on and off, and he said, "This is the most you're going to do here with electronics." So I left. I said, "Thank you. I guess I'm not taking this job." So I got back on the train to go home, and there was a newspaper folded up on the train seat, and it had an ad in it for what was called a pinball mechanic. Pinball mechanic. I had a friend at the time that was working for a company fixing pinball machines from an electronic shop, and he wasn't really that smart. And I said, if he could do that, I could do that too. I answered the ad, and after a couple of days of running back and forth to Times Square, I was hired. And I was hired by a gentleman who's actually a picture of I don't have right now at the moment, but his name was Heinz. And he was a German guy that was in the business for preparing games for 30 years. Now, I'll mark how old I am. I'm doing this now 41 years, okay? So Heinz was doing it 30 years, and he interviewed me, and he said, you know how to solder? Yeah. You know, read a schematic? Yeah. And a few other questions, and I got hired. And I wound up repairing electromechanical pinball machines, just like these, at all the colleges in the New York metropolitan area. So this picture was taken at CW Post in Glen Cove, Long Island. And I was at NYU, and I was at Columbia, and I was at Rutgers, and I was all over the place. So, you know, I went to college. I went to every one of those colleges. If somebody says, did you attend Columbia University? Yes, I did. I attended Columbia University, except I attended there to repair games. So I don't think it really hurt me. So, you know, even the young people today, you know, my children went to college and it cost us a lot of money, and they work for my company now, which I don't regret. I think it's a great thing. There still is a need for people to be pinball mechanics. There's a need for people to be plumbers. There's a need for somebody to stop calling my cell phone. Okay. And, you know, it's pretty cool. So there's a picture of me, maybe I weighed 120 pounds in this picture. And this is New Year's Eve, 1977. I remember it very vividly. I'm wearing my Huckapoo shirt, and somebody took a candid picture of me. And that was one of the games I had in my mom's basement, a Captain Kidd, which was kind of funny. So there I am, and you know, this is like watching somebody's vacation movies. You know, like, what the hell? You know, really, it doesn't go forever. I promise. This is a show in 1978 at the Conrad Hilton Hotel in Chicago, and these trade shows were attended by thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You couldn't get in. You couldn't get in. You were wall to wall, just like Gabe's event here. No, actually, thousands of people. And here I am with a Bigfoot in the background. Yeah. You know, if I knew then, I probably would have posed with the Bigfoot instead of Lost World. And actually, last year at FX, I found the Lost World, and not that I could actually recreate the picture. I don't think I look that much worse for the wear, but you know, the game still looks the same anyway. So, last picture of me, I think. So this is before Saturday Night Fever. This is actually Easter of 1977, and I think Saturday Night Fever came out in November of 1977. John Travolta never paid me any royalty for this at all. So I was actually, maybe I was 123 pounds in that picture. And I could definitely not fit in that white suit today, that's for sure. This was a trade show, and look how skinny I was. This is a trade show in 1990, and these people are Wally and Dinah Roberts from Coney Island. This was an IAPA show in 1990 in Washington, D.C. And IAPA is the Amusement Park Association, International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. In those years, nobody from the coin-operated amusement business went to IAPA, because IAPA was only for people that, you know, did stuff with amusement parks. The coin-operated amusement business had its own shows, and if you were from the coin-operated amusement business and you went to that show, it was like they wanted to throw you out the door. Today, the major show for the amusement industry, it's really not coin-operated anymore, is IAPA, is the November show, where they've combined everything. So I used to go to those shows just to see what was going on and to see my other customers and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought this was an interesting picture. You know, this is me in 1990, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were real popular. I had an arcade in Jackson, New Jersey, Jackson Family Arcade, and that's Michelangelo. But actually more important than that is my congressman, Chris Smith, standing on the other side of the turtle. And Chris Smith is a high-ranking congressman today. He's still working for the U.S. government. People don't even run against him. He's so good. And he's still a friend, and he's a great guy, so it was kind of cool. Mike, you called me. Did you need me? Did you call me, pocket dial me by accident?
I'm still learning how to use my smartphone.
Okay. So, if anybody else needs me, you don't have to call me on the phone. You can just say, I got a problem. So, all right. There's my other congressman. This is a guy by the name of Pat Lawler, and he's designed some really great games. Some of them are behind him, Adam's Family and Funhouse and that kind of stuff. And this was at his house. He has every #1 game that he designed in his game collection. And he's a pretty cool guy. I'm happy that he came out of retirement to come back and work for Jersey Jack Pinball. And he's working on our game #3, which everybody knows about, right? Everybody knows. Good. So here's a shot of a few of the people. Last year we had an open house. We've had one pretty much, God bless you, every year. And this year we're having an open house. We throw open the doors of the company. This year it'll be September 17th. Usually we do it in August, but if anybody knows Jen, my daughter that basically runs the company, she's pregnant with her first child, which is a little girl. Her name is Olivia Catherine, and she's due in August. So I didn't want to take a chance that, well, we're going to have an open house and Jen's water broke and let's go to the hospital because it's not good. So we moved the show to the 17th, and we're really excited about that. Here's a shot of me and my dad at IAPA. And my dad's 90 and he lives down in Orlando. And he's still got all those marbles, which is pretty cool. And he's, my best friend, aside from my wife, my advisor. My dad was an accountant for many years. And I learned a lot about business from him. He was a great guy. I don't know what the hell this is. This is a picture of the sky in Asbury Park the other night. And I just thought it was so pretty. I went to Asbury Park. Has anybody been there to the Silver Ball Museum? So, it was really cool Sunday. The boardwalk was packed with people. It was a beautiful day. We walked around, my wife and I. We had a nice dinner and a couple of drinks, and we went to the museum. And Joanne didn't play any pinball machines, and I did. And then we went outside, and the sky was just like that. So, I think this picture just says from me to you guys, life's too short. Take a little time, not just to play pinball, but to spend time with your family and stop and smell the roses or look at the sky and the beauty of what God put here for all of us. We really need to appreciate each other more. And, an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. So I didn't say that, but Gandhi did. So we got to have a little bit more kindness in this world. And I think pinball is a really cool way to do that. It's really cool that we make a product that brings smiles to people's faces. I don't think I could ever be involved with a product that wasn't a fun product. Help yourself. There's plenty of pizza down there too. So this is some pictures from today actually that got thrown in there. This was a shot of this morning's tournament. It was the kids tournament on the Pindemption game, and a lot of kids participated in that. It was really cool to see that. The 200 Foundation, some of you met Adam Bortolucci. He's done some really great work. He doesn't take any money from his foundation, and it's many, many years old. They've donated, I believe it's hundreds of thousands of dollars to charity, and it's really cool to be a small part of it. Mike's company and my company are part of what Adam does, so we're really proud of that too. This is a shot of Gabe this morning being really, Gabe, disorganized. He really didn't know what the hell he was doing. So he puts on a good show. The good thing is he's not here right now to hear this, but he'll watch it somewhere probably in about 6 months. He'll figure it out. Here's a shot of Adam and Steve Ritchie and Mike Dodona and myself before. We were climbing around taking a bunch of pictures, and Steve's a really good friend of mine, and it's nice that we get to see each other at shows. And I don't know, there's a shot of the Vanna from the after party last night that you guys went to. Here's a shot of this guy, Mike, with his dinner last night, part of it. Yeah, he had a small rack. I think we ordered the whole hog, right? And Bobby May and Lloyd and little Bobby, who's not so little anymore, they kind of missed out. They had to go after because Lloyd had his LTG show last night and our timing was way off. This is a Harley dealership, so for those of you that have Harleys, I don't know why this is in here, but it's in here. Just, just in case you want to buy a Harley. And I wanted to give everybody a little preview of what my new business is. Some people know me for a really long time, and they know that I always like a challenge, and the company's been a challenge, but it's been really good. There was a time where it wasn't so really good to be Jersey Jack, but it's really good to be Jersey Jack now. And this is a coconut stand on the road to Hana. And if you kind of look at the picture hangs by my office, by my desk. And this is my next business. And really, my inventory is on the right side. I have a tree with all the coconuts, all right? If you look closely at the picture, maybe you can't see it, in the middle there's a table, and there's a coconut on the table, and there's a machete on the table, and that's my workspace. And on the left side are the coconuts that have been split open already, and that's the refuse that's going to be picked up, that's going to be recycled. And I think if I have this little coconut stand on the road to Hana, I could be like really happy. I could sell coconuts and apple bananas. So maybe you might find me over there soon. I don't know. Not soon, but maybe like 20 or 30 years from now. Because my dad's 90, so probably good genetics run in the family anyway. So I got a little bit way to go, God willing. So I think that's about it. I'm willing to take a few questions. Yes, that distinguished looking gentleman in the back.
2 questions. First, about how many people do you employ?
You can tell he's Italian. He's talking like this. About how many people do you employ?
About how many people do you employ at the factory? And since you've been in the business so long,
when am I getting out, right?
What is really, from the perspective of the 70s, the perspective of the 90s, the perspective of today, what's changed to make it, again, pinball coming back, the young people being here?
Well, so the first part is, there's about 60, 70 people, something like that, work for the company. We have an 8,000 square foot office in Bensenville, Illinois. Our people that work there are some of our designers, some of our programmers, some of our engineering people. And they go to Portillo's Hot Dogs and they bump into the people from Stern Pinball, and that's always a joy. So there's a whole bunch of people in the factory, and when we need extra people, we call like an on-demand labor kind of thing. So we bring in extra people to build games. The second part of the question, everybody here, there are people here that love EMs. There might be people here that love wood rails. There might be people here that love different version. Electronic version games, whatever version board system you want to go to whatever manufacturer. The common thread is that there's this metal ball rolling around on the playfield, and that ball is going to do things that you can make it do, and the ball is going to do things that you don't want it to do, right? And kind of like pinball is like the game of life in a way, because we know one day we're all not going to be here, and one day, your ball's going to drain down the middle and you're going to lose the ball. No matter how good you are, that's what's going to happen. I think the part about it really is the tactile, mechanical part of the game that we can get involved with, and the skill level. It's a skill game. So, I play video games. I love video games. I'm sure all of us love video games. But when you get really good at a video game, you get really good at a video game. Pinball, if you get really good, somebody not so good could always beat you one day. So I think that's kind of what it is. I think, I'll say this, when I had pinballsales.com, I still have pinballsales.com, and when that company was really busy and I had a lot of games in my building, and you might come in with your son and say, son, I want to show you this game I played when I was in high school, Spirit of 76, So the kid would walk over to the game, look at the game, shoot the ball, and walk away from the game before the ball went anywhere. And today, I've said it many times, you have young people, a year and a half old in a stroller, playing on an iPad. So it's really difficult to make something that, to me, there's no disrespect, has one picture on the back box and one color for score, and that's going to satisfy the playing public. And that's why Wizard of Oz is what it is. Does anybody know, I'll ask a question, anybody know why there's a 27-inch HD LCD monitor in the Wizard of Oz? Does anybody know why? Anybody. Because I couldn't put anything in there bigger. Okay, that's why. All right. So that's what I think is bringing new people to love pinball. I think it's new technology, and it's instead of one company making it, where everybody thought it was the last company making it. You have a bunch of different people now excited about it. You bring more people together. You saw anybody at the auction knows only one person bidding on something isn't really an auction. You need two people. So two people make it more exciting. Like 3 and 4 and 5, and everybody plays off each other, and that's called competition. That's a really great thing. That was a long ass answer. Right? Another question, anybody? Yes, in the corner.
Did you keep the first Oz machine yourself?
Yes. Actually, game number 1, I know where game number 1 is, Emerald City Limited Edition, and we have a few prototype games. There's actually somebody here today that bought one of the prototype games. There are about 15 of those. The only problem with the prototype is they can't be updated. But yeah. Yes. Yes.
You sometimes go by historic pinball designs and ask yourself, can we use what features are on the old design better in a way?
So you're asking if we could repurpose some things from older games for newer games, right? So, I think everybody does that, right? You see different designers, and if you know what Pat does, and if you know what Steve does, and if you know what other designers do, they have their favorite things. They like shots through the bumpers, they like a right flipper, they like a subway, they like those things. It's like a songwriter going back to some melody that he liked or something like that. But the challenge with these games is, like everything else in life, it has a special, it's got a finite size to it, right? So you only have so many musical notes to write a song with. You only have so much area to make a pinball machine with. And it's more challenging. I think that's a good part of the LCD, where the LCD is not just in the game to be a piece of hardware in the game. It's there to enhance your player experience and the people's experience watching it. So, I don't think, I'm not big on remake games, because we made Wizard of Oz one way and I wanted Hobbit to look completely different. So Pat's game's going to look completely different again. So you try to change it up and innovate. So, yeah. Yes?
Jack, I went to an Allentown show many years ago, and I remember seeing you there in the outside vendor room hall. And I don't know if this was just a twinkle in your eye or if you decided later, but I'm very interested in the fact that you said you have to innovate. You can't stay stale, and you can't hide. And that's been the situation with any industry, music, film. If you stick your head in the sand, someone's going to come up with something else, and you're going to go by the wayside.
Right.
Stern just recently signed a contract with Pinball Arcade, and they're going to start creating all the Stern machines like AC/DC. They originally did a Kickstarter, but then I guess Stern must have stepped in and said, we're interested in this, and they signed a contract. Where are you as far as your machines, as far as coming in and saying, hey, we'd like to be involved in the digital industry, because a lot of us don't have an airplane hangar to put all of our favorite machines in for the funds, but we'd like to own machines.
Right.
Are you afraid of that technology?
No.
Can you
So,
say, hey, this can be something to spur on people to say, I play it digitally, now I want to own it in real life.
Right. So let me say a couple things about that. First of all, Stern, I think Stern is great, actually. I was Stern's biggest distributor for many years. I think what they're doing is great. They have a customer base for it that obviously loves their product. And, I never started Jersey Jack Pinball to put Stern out of business. That wasn't the thing. It was just, we wanted to make great games, and that's what we strive to do. One day, you decide to do something. I never had a plan. It wasn't a plan from 5, 10, 12 years ago. It just happened. It evolved. There was no master plan to it. As far as the digital assets go, we licensed, the 2 games we did so far were from Warner Brothers. So if we do digital pinball machines, we need to pay them more money. I need to go back and get a different license. With Pat Lawler's game, you don't have a movie, okay? It's not a TV show. It's an original idea, all right? So original idea games are difficult because nobody knows what the heck it is. You gotta build a storyboard around it. So instead of us spending, let's just take a number, instead of spending $200,000 to license something, and you have assets from a movie to use, Now you have to spend $300,000 and create everything from nothing and have a bunch of different artists and programmers and everybody do everything, right? I would do something with Pat's game in digital media if it made sense. I don't have a problem with that. I think Brad from VP Cabs, I love his games. I think the people that can't have an airplane hangar could play all those different pinball machines. And okay, maybe it's not real pinball. Maybe if you're a pinball purist, it's not real pinball. But guess what? It's closer to real pinball than nothing. So it's not a bad thing.
Plus it spurs on interest. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people who will play.
People play it and then they go play the real game.
And then go
You know,
play
yeah,
the game.
I think it's really great. I'm not afraid of that. I'm really not afraid of anything at this
And
point.
the difference with BP Cabinet, I talked to him, by the way, is if you look at.
Is this a
his
commercial
cabinet-
for him? Because
No,
he's a
no,
great
no,
guy,
no,
you know.
No, it's like a sheet of paper, it's too
Right.
flat, but if you look at Pinball Arcade, you have 3D depth to the table, and it's really starting to take leaps and bounds to the
Yep.
point, and the physics are starting to get better and
Yep.
better, and we all know how technology advances, there's gonna come a time, I'm not saying it's gonna replace that, but if you as
Well, you know,
an innovator.
yeah, I would see the game. I would see game operators perhaps want to try to put the game out on location commercially. However, you know, we had Hyperpin, we had Ultracade, we had a few other commercial games that were based on real Williams pinball machines that had the right emulators working them so that it felt like a pinball machine. They went out commercially and they failed miserably. So, you know, it's not really what I want. It's really what the public wants, the customer wants, and what they'll accept and what they'll play. You know, but I think we should keep trying, even though, you know, if you fail a bunch of different times, listen, I probably failed thousands of times within the company, but overall I didn't fail. You know, I made a lot of mistakes. I made mistakes every day. You know, if I didn't admit that, you know, it'd be really silly. Next question. That guy again.
You mentioned the licensing of the
Yes.
other of the Hobbit and Wizard of Oz from the companies that made the movies. Did they have any kind of right of refusal on the machines? Did they have to see the final product before the deal went through?
Yeah, so,
And what was their reaction when they saw? I know when I saw it, like Wizard of Oz,
Right.
I thought it was the greatest piece of pinball I had ever seen. Was their reaction as surprised as some of us were when we saw it?
so with Hobbit, you know, I've been through this many times, but for people that are here, I'll be brief about it. Hobbit was supposed to be 2 movies. It became 3 movies. And then what happened with it was Peter Jackson is notorious for keeping everything a secret. So as we got further into the game, we didn't really get all the assets of the game. And what happened with Hobbit was my license actually ran out at the end of last year. It was so long, which was amazing. And I had to go back to Warner Brothers and renew the license, which we did, extended, you know, several more years if I needed or not. But the point was that everything that you do is in segments. So you don't go to them the last day and say, hey, guess what? I got this thing I made that took us X millions of dollars and 3 years to make, 2 years to make. What do you think about it? You know, you're getting approvals on every little thing that goes along. All the artwork that's submitted, all the videos that are submitted, all the music that's submitted. So it's hundreds. I mean, we have binders this big of approvals. And then there are things that get rejected. They come back in red. You have to change this. You can't put a ball here. You can't do this. You can't say that. And that's the downside of doing a licensed product. You know, if you just want to be cut and paste and make a lunchbox, okay, you just take their assets they have online and you just paste it onto whatever and it sails right through. But when you start interpreting some of that stuff differently, which is the habit of, I guess, come on in. You want pizza? You want pizza?
No, not pizza. I'm just here to listen.
Get out. No, stay here. What's your name?
I'm George.
George, come on in. We're a friendly group. Let's everybody welcome George. Very good. And if you want pizza, there's like 12 pizzas down there and there's some up there.
Pretty like 100.
There you go. Get after my own heart. So, yeah, so that's the approval process with licenses. So, you know, we have a few more licenses that we secured. So next game's coming along. There'll be licenses and perhaps again there'll be an unlicensed game too. So. Anybody else? Yes.
I'll ask one. You started this company at a very interesting time. I think it shows some, either you knew that the industry was on an upswing or had the potential for an upswing, but you had an idea that like, I can do something that's gonna create a market where it wasn't. I mean, Williams was, after the big collapse in the pinball industry. What gave you the idea? I mean, what was the inspiration?
So, it's interesting that you asked that question, and, there was a big recession, if anybody remembers it. I'm sure some people are still recovering from it. So in January of 2011, it really wasn't great economic times. And pinball was not really selling much. We really didn't, our sales were down for a few years too. I'm not saying I'm a genius or visionary or anything like that. I just felt if you built a product that people wanted, you could be successful. And having the customer base of pinballsales.com was roughly 13 or 14,000 customers at that time. I felt that if they got behind the company and they believed in the company would build a really good game, and they would actually put money up and wait for the game, well, we're going to go build that game. And, I don't say it wasn't difficult. Obviously, people, read a lot of things. There were people that were in our favor. There were some people against us. There were, all of that kind of stuff. As you have in every industry, you're not going to have everybody cheering on the sideline. We hope everything's good. We had people that were, put bombs in the middle of the roadway for us to step on, landmines to blow us up and prevent us from doing anything. And you wonder if some of those people love pinball or what they loved or not. But I am not somebody to bet against. I've never been. It doesn't mean I can jump out a window and fly. But if I jumped out the window, I'd probably learn how to fly before I hit the ground. There are a great infrastructure support system that I have in my life. It's my family. It's a number of dear friends that gave me encouragement, and it's our customer base, and that's what we owe the company to. And if something really doesn't kill you, it kind of makes you stronger, but it also makes you smarter because a lot of mistakes were made that you really shouldn't repeat again with startup companies. Everybody statistically probably like the first 5 years, X amount of companies fail or whatever. But companies fail that are 70 years old because they have mismanagement, they don't have the vision, they don't have the direction, they don't have the right people. The company's not based on the game. The company's really based on the people in the company. That's what makes any company. If this hotel, the people here don't clean the rooms, or they're rude, or they do other things, they can have the most beautiful facility on planet Earth, and they'll have no customers. So it's about really listening to your customer. Whatever business you have, you really can't get so smug and stupid to believe that you know everything. I don't know anything. I try to surround myself with people that know a lot more than me, so I'm like the dumbest guy in the group, right? Having all the experience I have, I'd still love to be the dumbest guy in the room. That showed me that I chose the right people to be in the company. So, yes, a couple more, and then I'm going to let you guys be in peace and go back and play some games.
When are you going to tell us what Pat's game is all about?
I'm going to tell you what Pat's game is all about when his game is ready. And the only reason I would do that is if I tell you what it is right now without showing you what the game is, you will have no clue what it is. It's just like the people that rated The Wizard of Oz online before all the code was done. It wasn't fair to the game, the company, or anything. Pat's game, the good thing about Pat's game, what's a few good things about Pat's game? We didn't take any pre-orders. We didn't take any money. We don't need any money, okay? Which is a great thing to say. Like Forrest Gump, when he got that letter in the mail from Apple and he said, well, we invested in a fruit company and now we don't need no more money and that's a good thing. Well, that's kind of how I feel. So thankfully, I don't need your money right now. There will be like a pre-order thing with it. It'll be very short. I envision, I don't know if this is for sure, and his game will be the first game that we ever do so far that'll be on time because I won't announce it till it's done. So it'll definitely be on time. Right? You got that? So, right? Even you got that, George. So, we're learning. Again, we're still building a lot of hobbits. We'll probably build another couple thousand hobbits. So if today I wheeled in Pat's game, maybe 2 or 3 of you might cancel a hobbit and say, let me wait for Pat's game. But that's not really a fear of mine. We still have people buying Wizard of Oz. And when we have Pat's game and Hobbit and Wizard of Oz, guys will buy all 3 that didn't buy any of them yet. You know what? I thought this guy would be out of business, but this idiot, after 6 or 7 years still in business, I might as well buy his games. What the hell, you know? So it's a good thing. So that's probably when I'll tell you what's going on. And I didn't pick a show, I didn't pick a date, I didn't pick a place, I didn't pick a time. It's just kind of nebulous right now. It's kind of out there. And we're working on the game after that too. We started that also, so that's pretty good. Anybody else? So, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank all of you for loving pinball machines, because if you didn't, none of us would be here, right? So, no. If you didn't, I think all of our lives would be a little bit less full. I don't want to make it that pinball is like the most important people in everybody's life. Yeah, obviously, in some of our lives, it's more important than others. Probably more important in my life than maybe all of you, or it's probably more important in Mike's life, you know, than all of you. But there's more good things coming. We're really at the beginning. So promote it, push it, play it, have fun with it, and you know, just enjoy it. All right, thank you all. Appreciate it.